the Only Leeds Bros show.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Only Leeds Bros. No Leeds United this weekend. No Leeds United to ruin it for us this weekend, lads. So you still have to deal with us three fine gentlemen on your Saturday morning. We'll pop straight across to Conor. Conor, how are you keeping? Thanks for popping in.
Yeah, all good, mate. All good. International break slowly killing us all, innit? Did Ireland win? Ireland got a win, didn't they?
Yeah, Ireland won. Yeah, there was mass celebrations here in Ireland. There was open top buses. The pubs were free. We actually won a game of football.
Unbelievable. Yeah, so
word has it still going on as we speak.
Yeah, my mum and dad went to. Obviously, we came back and they actually went to Belfast, obviously in the north, and they were there for the Paddy's Day, and they just said it was absolutely mental. So I was thinking to myself after that win the other day, it's that and Paddy's Day. It's just gonna go into its belated celebrations, isn't it, for the next month?
We won a football match. Yeah, they're all going mad over Finn Aziz or Isaiah's now, and he's like the next prodigal son now of Ireland. He's gonna bring us to World Cups and all. Now it's just like, lads, he'd won go game in an Ireland shirt. Let's just relax. Like, don't keep too much pressure. It was the same thing with Evan Ferguson and all when he came on the scene as well. You know, he was the next son of Ireland and stuff like that. But yeah, we always seem to get anyone half decent football ability as
or school.
The next big thing will be building statues and all of them. But yeah, that's it. Dillo, how are you?
Oh, good, lads. Fabulous Saturday morning. It's miserable outside. I don't know what it's like over where you are, Conor, but it's absolutely miserable here.
Where was it? How long ago was I in Dublin? Was it a couple of weeks ago? It was just blistering sunshine. It was just nice, wasn't it? And here we are, back to normal again. Yeah, it's over. You can probably tell by the camera. It's overcast and crap here again in the north. Yeah. So same old.
Yeah, that's it. Bad here as well. And that's what March seems to be like that in Ireland as well. It's just like, it's really, really unpredictable. You can get brilliant days like that, Conor, when you're over sunny days. You're like, what's going on here? And it catch you off guard because you could be in jeans and a jacket and then it's roasting out. And then the next day it's lashing rain and miserable and cold as well. So yeah, not good. We'll get into a couple of the comments anyway. Say hello to a couple of the people before we get into it. Well seen, Gnonto. Yeah, so we obviously did the thumbnail before the bad news about Willie Gnonto. We'll crack on straight with that anyway, Conor. Bit of a worry, isn't it?
Yeah, well, now the campaign starts for Ramazani in the number 10. So we start it here. We start the narrative. No, it's just typical, isn't it? I mean, you're just hoping that it's some sort of impact knock and it's not muscular. It's not something that's going to keep him out for a period of time. But that's the risk, lads, when you've got 15 players on international duty. There is going to be, you look at Sheffield United as well. I think Sheffield United have had Hamza Chowdhury with Bangladesh and Sidi Peck with England elite squad. And that's it. Whereas you got Burnley with 10 internationals, us with 15. Yeah, and they're at less risk, obviously, of injury than us. But when you've got 15 lads going away for international duty, we were saying it just at home, really, before it kicked off. Something's going to happen to one of them, whether or not it'd just be a little niggle, whether or not it'd be then pick up the flu or something like that. One of them is going to be something. So you're just hoping it's not for your key players. But obviously, him getting a knock last night and hobbling off in the 45th minute. I don't remember, to be honest, ever seeing him really hobble off for Leeds. So, yeah, we know sometimes he can feign injury a little bit to get an advantage in a game, a little bit of gamesmanship. But him hobbling off, he always he wants to be playing, doesn't he, Gnonto? He always wants to be on the pitch. So slightly concerning, and I'm just hoping now that we get him back early and just get him into some sort of recovery state where he can just rest and be fit and firing for Swansea. But it's not what you need on the second day of internationals, is it?
No, not at all. And like that, we got a bit of good news last night. Seeing Mateo Joseph scored for the under 21s, which is good as well. Kind of keeps him kind of tipping over and keeps kind of credit in the bank for him. Was happy to see that. Seen Firpo didn't start for the Dominican Republic as well in their first friendly game against Puerto Rico, which is good as well. He hasn't played a game. Tanaka only played 45 minutes. They've qualified for the World Cup now as well, the Japanese national side. So you're hoping the second game they might want to change things up and try things a little bit, wouldn't you? But it's the one tonight, isn't it? The Welsh lads tonight is the one you look at, Conor, with a keen eye, Rodon and James. If either one of them gets injured, we're done for, aren't we, really?
Yeah, it feels like definitely with the centre backs, it's massive in it. Like I've had numerous chats about this just off air and stuff like that. If one of those boys goes down, it's Byram, innit? It's got to be Byram at centre-back. We've tried the Gilavogi experiment there. That was terrible. It's got to be Byram at centre-back, I think, or maybe Leeds moving to a back three. I don't know. But then obviously you have to overcompensate with another centre-back, so that's unlikely. So yeah, it'd have to be Byram there, I think, lads, which is just the worst-case scenario because obviously Ethan's not fit, is he? So yeah, hopefully it's going to be one of those scenarios where they don't pick anything up. But one to keep an eye on is obviously Tanaka and Firpo. They're traveling over 1,000 miles. They're getting back. I think Tanaka, it's sort of like 12, 13 hours before kickoff as well. So that's one to keep an eye on as well in terms of fatigue. So yeah, it's the risk when you've got so much quality in that side that you go away for internationals. They pick for internationals first of all, but they go away and they pick something up. But hopefully, as you say, Joseph scored last night. A banger of a goal as well. Brilliant finish. Yeah. So that's good. It seems to be you can just do it for the 21s. So yeah, maybe a chance given for the first team at some stage would be nice. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, lads.
Yeah, same. Dylan, we'll pass over to you. The first question. So after 38 games this season for Leeds United, we see at top of the table, just about. Obviously, it's the narrative kind of going around. Conor, you'd know a little bit more dealing with the Sheffield United fans. The narrative is that Leeds United obviously scored 80 points so far this season. Sheffield United 82. They've scored more points than us.
Don't forget that.
Don't forget that. That's the narrative.
They'll tell you, and the manager
while they're starting to push that now. So we didn't really hear him kind of say that at the start of the season, but he is kind of starting to push that now. Over the first 38 games, Dylan, happy enough with Leeds United? Could we have done more? Are we overachieving? What's your thoughts?
I feel like, as I said, going back to the Sheffield United and Sunderland game, potentially they were probably at the time the biggest games of the season to try and create that gap, and we didn't play unbelievable, but a bit of luck and a bit of heart in the team got us across the line, I think. But then you look at Portsmouth, a bit of a letdown for me, similar to Blackburn last season. But I still think it's in the hands. But obviously now the Gnonto situation is going to startle us all a little bit. And I kind of feel bad for him because he played all right in the last game, and I was kind of looking forward to him to become more regular in the starting lineup, and plus to give Brendan Aaronson a break. But I'd say I'm happy with how Leeds are going at the minute. Yeah, a few slip ups along the way, but we're still top of the league at the end of the day. I think whoever's top of the league, whether it's goal difference or points, to the best team in the league. And don't be minding Wilder. That's just a clown who's gonna. If the points aren't on the board, they don't count. So laugh at that.
Yeah, love that. Conor, what about you, mate? After 38 games this season, you happy enough with Leeds United?
Yeah, I am. I think we're making hard duty of it. I think I'll be honest with you. Like I'm not. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm upset or annoyed or anything like that with it. But I think we've made hard duty work of it. We should, for me now, be sort of 5 or 6 points clear. Yeah. And I know football's not played on paper, lads, but I always say this. The majority of it is because you've got the most expensive squad in the division and the biggest wage structure in the division. You really should be further ahead. And I think. When you look at our bench, I think there is a conversation that 3 or 4 of those bench players start for every single team in the division, including our rivals right now. So for us to be matched up on 80 points with Sheffield United, who have kind of, in all fairness to them, gone through something really similar to what we went through last season in terms of just at the start of the season, it was just an exodus, lads, an exodus of players just leaving, carousel of players. So the narrative last season for us was, well, we had a really tough job last season, getting into this position, obviously, with the teams that we were up against, but dealing with what we had to deal with at the start of the season as well, in terms of the players leaving. Sheffield United have had that this season as well. They've managed to accrue more points than us, in all fairness to them. So I do think maybe, this is extremely harsh, but I've got extremely high standards for this team and the manager, to be fair, at championship level. I maybe do think we should have a few more points than what we've got right now, but overall you can't really complain. We're top of the division. But I'm sort of not making any grandeur statements and assessments until we get to the 3rd of May and we know where we are, because I probably would see the playoffs right now. Winning the playoffs would be amazing and objective complete, but falling into the playoffs right now I think would be a little bit of a failure.
Yeah. And it was similar, Conor, and Dylan, the next question kind of leads on to the next question. This time last season, we were in a similar position. We went top of the league. Granted, I think Leicester had a game and handovers, but we were just after beating them. We were on that kind of fine form. Felt like at the time that international break came at the wrong time for Leeds United, that we were kind of steamrolling our way towards promotion. When we came back from international break, we know exactly what happened. The Welsh lads, Rutter with the hernia operation, it seemed the wheels really did fall off last season. This season, though, do you feel as that the international break might have came at a good time for Leeds United? Obviously, over the last 12 points, we've only picked up 5. It hasn't been great. Is this a little bit of blessing in disguise, this international break, Dylan?
I think it's going to benefit certain players. For example, Brendan Aaronson, who's been running ragged for the last couple of months and playing non-stop, as well as travelling for the USA national team. But I think it's going to give them a bit of a pick-me-up as well, and a slap of reality that we're not there yet. We can't be letting the foot off the gas, that we need to, if anything, pump this into sport mode and as you said, ride it until we are crowned champions. But, you know, at the same time, you know, there's a lot of games that are coming thick and fast. So the rest that the international break is giving us now, who could be utilised for the likes of Ampadu, you know, even Patrick Bamford. And I know, kind of hate saying that, but if there's that possibility of him kind of finishing his Leeds career on a high, we're getting Leeds promoted, I think we could all agree it'd be a nice, happy ending for him to. So I think it's good for the rest and everyone to come back down to earth. But just kind of want to get it done now, if I'm being honest with you, because I'm just anxious.
You're getting nervous, aren't you, Dylan? Yeah. He's getting nervous. Got all the texts and messages between myself and Dylan. He's starting to feel the pressure now. What about you, Conor? Do you think this might be a little bit blessing in disguise, this international break?
Yeah. It kind of comes back to it's a weird one, isn't it, lads? It's like a double-edged sword. It's like you needed that, but I think we needed that break. I actually probably wouldn't have wanted to face Swansea, to be honest, on a Tuesday or Wednesday night. I'd have been extremely nervous going into that with the sort of drop off that we've had. But yeah, it comes back to the injuries again. And look, if we'd have sailed through a little bit and it'd have been fine, but I think it's like Danny's just said there in the chat that it was a muscular issue when it comes to Gnonto. You are kind of looking at it and thinking, my goodness, you know, that's a bit of a hammer blow with what we saw in that 45 against QPR and the level up of what we saw in comparison to Brendan Aaronson. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, isn't it? You kind of enjoying the break in terms of not us, but the players' rest and recovery and recuperation there. But you also think to yourself, there's not really any rest, is there? It's like 15 of them are leaving and traveling around the world. So yeah, pause for thought there, definitely. But you feel like just the break in fixtures has definitely helped Leeds out.
I think with Gnonto though as well, just going back to that, you know, last season when Rutter came back from his hernia operation, we were all kind of saying, who else is going to go in there? You know, and that's the thing I've been banging on about. What kind of slipped us up last season is we solely relied on 3 individuals who are gone now. And, you know, with Gnonto being injured, he hasn't been playing a lot. Don't get me wrong, I thought he played very well in the last game. But, you know, there's this break now for Brendan Aaronson to get the energy levels up, you know, regroup and go again. So I'm not saying it's good that Gnonto's injured, but I'm saying there's not much of a panic status as much as it was last season, because when Rutter was injured, from what I can remember on X, there was a meltdown. So at least there's still someone that we know that can play in that role that, you know, potentially can get us across the line.
I think just to chime in there as well, I think the sort of only irritating thing I've found with it is we've come back to rotation, haven't we, so many times, and I kind of come back to it, and I'm thinking, well, he's barely played really when you look at the grand scheme of things. I think he's played sort of, you know, a third of the minutes of Aaronson. He could have done this sooner. You know, Gnonto could have been in this. 100%. He could have been 100%. This number. He could have been this number 10 3 or 4 games ago, and he's not. But he's not been in that, and he's had the opportunity to be in that number 10. I know Farke's come out and said, you know, I was very wasteful the night before. I could not sleep thinking about Willie or Elijah in that number 10. I know he was saying that the night before.
That's probably the best impression I've ever seen in my life.
But it is very much like
Conor Farke.
Yeah, you could have done it before, fella. Do you know what I mean? You could have stuck him in there a lot sooner and maybe built those minutes up in his legs. But yeah, that's kind of my only criticism with Farke, the fact that he's kind of kept going with Aaronson when it's, let's be honest, like the 2025 for Brendan Aaronson has not been a good one. So, yeah, sorry if I'm coming across a bit.
No, No, I
talking
agree with that, Conor, 100%. And it was something because it was going when we got onto the Gnonto and Aaronson situation. Obviously, it does depend. It's a massive question mark now over Gnonto if he is going to be fit to go. But I don't even think whether it's a question of Aaronson and Gnonto anymore, lads. I think we probably do have to look at Daniel Farke, and it's probably down to his stubbornness, Conor, and it's the word that we kind of always seem to use about Daniel Farke is that he should have really had this plan B and the what if, something does happen to Aaronson, international duty, suspensions, injuries, what goes in there, and to kind of be experimenting with that now, 8 games to go, it probably falls on the manager a little bit, doesn't it?
Well, hold on, as well as that, Darren, sorry for cutting straight across, it could potentially come down to January as well. We were all crying out for it. Every person
that's what I'm
talked
saying.
Leeds,
Like we all say we're the best team in the division, Dylan. And like that, I think the summer window and the January window, I don't know if you agree, guys. Yeah, we should have recruited a 10, 100%,
Yeah.
but we didn't. But Daniel Farke still has the tools to do it. So as a manager, when you're given the tools and the tools are there, does it not really rest with him a little bit that he should have tried before now with 8 games to go to experiment whether it was going to be a Gnonto, your Solomon, your Ramazani's, just to have that plan B?
Yeah, well, I think from Gnonto and Ramazani coming off the bench, me and you said it loads of times, Darren. Like you look at that bench and it was stacked when Ampadu was uninjured. It was a mad team, lads. When you seen who was going to come on, and it was exciting as well. You're taking off Solomon, who's at the, playing an unbelievable game, or DJ. You're bringing on Gnonto and Ramazani, and then like that, you're going to control Gnonto in the 10 as well. Like there's so much things and potential that this team can do. Obviously, look, if we go up, we're going to have to, as you do say, Darren, the spine of the team, we're going to have to invest. We're going to have to get a few players in. But I mean, especially for the championship, I have to kind of agree with you, to be fair. You could kind of be critical of Farke a bit because he didn't utilise his bench that he should be doing. And, he's kind of not moaning about it, but he's definitely
I think at the
dropped
start
hints
of the
in press
season,
conference.
he did, though, Dylan. He did utilise that. And Conor, I don't know what your thoughts are. I thought we kind of seen a bit of a different Daniel Farke this season, that he was kind of utilising that bench a little bit more, especially compared to last season. I don't think he trusted his bench anywhere near enough. But he kind of seems to have fallen back into that kind of Daniel Farke mode, hasn't he, where he's not really using it as much as what he really should be.
Yeah, he's risk versus reward, isn't it? I think right now with what you get with Aaronson is endeavour off the ball, his running. But I'll be brutally honest. I don't see that much upside to him, and I kind of have, in and around the Oxford game, Oxford at home, he was decent. There was 3 or 4 games in and around that, but I don't think I've seen a steady improvement in his game. And I'm sure you lads and others will disagree. I've just not seen, when I look at him, I always thought that he rushed. I'm still seeing that in his game. I'm still seeing a lack of composure in front of goal. Positionally, I think he's improved. I think on the half turn, he's very good in pockets, which is a nightmare for defenders. But with Aaronson, it's that second, third, fourth phase, which is the problem. It's getting the ball out of his feet. It's then picking the right move. It's then making the right decision, of which it's, as I say, I think there's a correlation between some of these players and the step down. And I think it is that long-term view with Brendan Aaronson. Should he be playing consistently in that number 10 with, better players than him on the sideline? And then with maybe a lack of a look toward the Premier League, and maybe even next season if we were to be in the Championship anyway, because I don't think, regardless of anything really, Brendan Aaronson, with the quality that we've got, should be starting in the number 10 if we're in the Championship or in the Premier League. So that's kind of where I'm at really with it. So him coming back fresh, revitalised, like Dill's quite rightly said, I'm hoping it's going to be a different Brendan Aaronson. But I genuinely think, lads, when you look at everyone will say, and I've had it loads of times, Conor thinks anybody can fit in the number 10. I genuinely don't. I think if you've got out and out wingers, you can look at them and say, do you know what? Let's look at like Jesser and Raksaki, at Sheffield United, Koleosho at Burnley. I don't think they've got the tendencies to move into the number 10 because they're out and out wingers. It's all about pace. It's all about beating the man on the flank. I think when you look at Solomon, I think when you look at Ramazani and Gnonto, a lot of their tactical work is inversion. They're constantly converting into that number 10 role and running into that space. And I think on the half turn, in between the midfield and the defence, they're absolutely terrifying. So that's why I kind of advocate Solomon, who's got a lot of Pablo tendencies about his game. I think a lot of Pablo tendencies. And Ramazani, who, I've got one of my really good mates, a Sheffield United fan, constantly says to me, why is that guy not in the number 10 for you, Ramazani? What he did to us at Ellen Road. He absolutely destroyed Sheffield United in that game. And I just think there is a a sort of thing with Daniel Farke where he does stick to maybe his favourites a little bit, and you see that a lot. And I do think it's criminal that Ramazani's had 731 minutes in about 20 games, to be honest, lads. I just think that calibre on the bench has to be utilised. Yeah. So, yeah, long way round. I just think there needs to be... This is where he earns his money, lads, now. This is where because his job's on the line. His job's on the line. He's got 8 games to get Leeds United into the Premier League, and that is the MO. That's the objective. There's no, falling off, and then next year we go again with third year of parachute payments. The players and Daniel Farke have to get to the Premier League with this side, because it's not going to be rosy next season, is it?
No, definitely not. Just have a comment here from Stephen Bourne. I want to kind of put the two of your lads and get your thoughts on it. If Ampadu was back for the run, and I think we go up as champions. Ampadu has missed so much, and a dip in form since he's been out. The team is no coincidence. Smash them likes. Dylan, we come across you. It was obviously something, a debate that we had a couple of weeks ago with the Ampadu and Gruev situation. And we know, we know what happened against Sheffield United when Ampadu kind of did against Sunderland when Ampadu did let his man go, and everyone kind of lost their head saying Ampadu needs to come out of the team. He needs to do better there. Is it a coincidence that with Ampadu's gone out of the team that Leeds have had that little dip in form?
I would say a coincidence. A few games he was kind of very irritating me, but he was still vocally good, but it was down to his passing. It was very sloppy at times. He was just mistiming them, or they were
slow,
just not enough, pace behind the ball, sort of stuff. But it's his general, captaincy inside him, Darren, if that makes sense. He just has that kind of flair, and he likes to settle it down when it needs to be settled down. Now, at times, he does settle it down a bit too much, slows the game down a bit too slow for me. But
do you think we look better though at the back when it's rolled on Ampadu rather than when it's rolled on Strike? Do you think we look a lot more defensively solid when Ampadu's in there?
Yeah, at times you would, 100%. But I think even with Ampadu, when he is on, when he does play that centre halves, I think it's all down to Rotwell. I think Rotwell moves the ball, quick in the middle of the park. I think when Rotwell's not on and it's just Ampadu, I just think it's like Rotwell's just like, give me the ball, I'll try and do something with it, where Ampadu slows it down. But he's vocally a good captain, and he's a smashing player. I think his best position is in the midfield, if I'm being honest with you. But that can't be with Gruev in there as well, if I'm being honest with you. I think it's too defensive set up. But yeah, you would. I think we are starting to miss him now, lads, if I'm being honest with you.
What about you? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think. God, I mean, look, let's pretend Gnonto's fit. I think going into sort of the last 8 games, him being back, Ampadu's going to be like a new signing. The only thing is, I feel like we've rushed him back a lot, lads. I don't know if you feel the same, but I think we rush Ampadu back a hell of a lot, and sometimes I'm not sure he's 100% fit. I know, look, the lads aren't ever 100% fit outside the first 6 games. We all know that in football, but it just feels like he's been going down a little bit more with niggles, with knocks, and yeah, maybe Farke's trying to rush him in there. He always talks about him being almost indispensable, doesn't he? Because I struggled there, but like even with
it happens to me all the time.
But with Tanaka and Rothwell in there, lads, he was still saying, look, when my captain's back, he gets in there. So yeah, 8 games left, he'd be massive. I do. If he puts Gruev in there, or if even Aaronson starts the next game, I don't know. I think Ampadu does make a massive difference. But if Aaronson starts again, let's say Willie's out with a knock, let's say he's out with a knock, is that then Aaronson in for the remainder of the season anyway? Because I think even if Willie Gnonto's fit, I think what Daniel Farke's like. I think, when he gets into the role of things, he wants to keep things like it is. Yeah. I think for the final 8 games, if Aaronson is back in for Swansea, I'm not 100% sure Willie Gnonto gets another start. That will be my big worry in that number 10. I think, he comes back, Aaronson's in the number 10. Right, that's what I'm going to go with. I can't chop and change at this point because we've got 2 littler games now. So I'm sticking with that. I've got to roll with that. That's how I think it'll happen Swansea onwards, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm of that thinking as well. And it was probably the ideal time to try it, though. Conor wasn't it, at Swansea. If he was going to change it up, it was going to be that Swansea game. I think after that, then it's really coming out to crunch time. And then you're playing by fire then, aren't you? If you're chopping and changing at this late of the season, it's a tough one. It's a big call, isn't it? But look what you said, Conor. That's what he's going to make his big bucks off, isn't it? Is these big calls coming down to these last 8 games?
Yeah, it feels like that. It's the big calls, isn't it? And look, ideally, what I'd have it is there's a conversation Rothwell or Tanaka, and I think we'd all side with Tanaka, but Rothwell's just so good at setting that tempo. I think sometimes you might get Ampadu actually setting the tempo ahead of Tanaka, because I think Tanaka sometimes takes a while to get into the game. He's he's tidy, isn't he? A lovely tidy player, very, very elegant on the ball, but Rothwell will just immediately get it and drive the ball forward. So I think the balancing act would actually be pretty nice seeing Rothwell and Ampadu. I think that's a very, very good double pivot. But you Tanaka in there, aren't you? It'd be interesting to see what happens against Swansea, because obviously Tanaka's been on his travels, hasn't he? But I think ideally you'd have Ampadu in there, wouldn't you? You'd have Tanaka and then Gnonto just ahead. I think that's a really good middle phase of the pitch. I think it's a dominant middle phase of the pitch as well. But yeah, and then the other question's about James, isn't it? James right now looks knackered. He's not getting any rest. He's not getting any rest, mate. He's one of their key players, isn't he? Almost captain-like for Wales. He's not going to get any rest again. So this is what being a good coach is about. It's rotating, it's utilising that squad.
Yes.
We keep going on, don't we, Dill, about us having the best squad in the division. Well, it doesn't matter. If you don't use that,
you're not rotating it, yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're not rotating it and you're not rotating it effectively, then it really doesn't matter, does it? I mean, you've got another option as well, haven't you, in the number 10? You've got Joel Peru in the 10, and then you've got Joseph up top. And that is an option. We might not like Joseph up top. I know there's a lot of people who don't like it, this, that, and the other, but we've not really tried and tested Peru and Joseph as a 10 and a 9. We've not really done that. And would that be more effective than having Aaronson in there right now? There's a conversation there. So there's options. There's a load of options, even if Gnonto was out.
I think if you were to do that, you would definitely have to play Rothwell and Ampadu. Tanaka.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd maybe Gruev in there. He just worried me a little bit when he said in his post-match that to facilitate Gnonto in there, you kind of have to have Gruev in there. I don't agree with that at all. But I kind of get his thought process. But for me, you get Gruev in there and he limits Leeds a lot, I think, in that midfield.
Yeah, 100% agree. Just start Daniel's comment here now, lads. Something I kind of want to put you, because we did bring it up, Dylan, as well earlier during the week. I'd be interested to get Conor's thoughts on this one as well. Danny says, morning, lads. Quick question. Do we keep Daniel Farke if we go up through the playoffs? In my opinion, top 2, give him a crack at the whip. Anything else with the squad that he has available to this year is a failure. Is it, Conor? If Leeds do fall out of the top 2, and let's say in parallel universe, Leeds United romp the playoffs, we know it's not going to happen, but if we do, when we go up a third, does Daniel Farke deserve a crack at the whip?
God, is this just on the premise that we drop out and finish and we win the playoffs? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think I'm probably the biggest critic with it, because we go up. I think you've got to give him a chance. Of course you have. You've got to give him a chance. What I will be focusing in on is not making recruitment dependent on Daniel Farke, so I would recruit for Leeds United, not for Daniel Farke specifically, because I think there's going to be a conversation about maybe him being relieved of his duties pretty early if we're not winning games, which in the Premier League is probably going to be quite likely. So I don't think it's positional. I think it'd be a worry. I think we'd all go into next season thinking, it got a little bit tough again towards the back end of the season, which for Norwich, by the way, that's where they get stronger towards the back end of the season. That would mean for 2 campaigns at Leeds United, the back end of the season is faltered a little bit. So I think we'd all be a little bit nervy, I think, but there will be a wave of obviously happiness from us all that we've got promoted back to the Premier League. So, and there's been teams who've gone up through the playoffs who've done really well, aside from obviously the last couple of seasons. So, yeah, I won't be getting rid of him, but I've said this throughout. There will be a very, very, very short leash with Daniel Farke for me in the Premier League.
Yeah, me too. And I think it would be a little bit mad. I'll get your thoughts as well, Dylan, that if we do go through the playoffs and you kind of have that elation, Leeds eventually win at Wembley, something that we never seem to do. You go up, you have all the happiness, and all of a sudden then you're sacking your manager. It seems a bit kind of counterproductive, doesn't it? Something like that. So, yeah, I suppose but like what you said, and we even reign the lead in a little bit even more, Conor, if we do go through top 2 or even win the division. If we only go up in third, the 49ers might reel that in a little bit more. And like what you said, we only get 5, 6, 7 games, and if we don't pick up a win there, could very much cost him his job as well. Dilla, what's your thoughts? I know you didn't want to speak about it earlier in the week, but just to answer Daniel's comments, is it a failure on Daniel Farke's behalf if we go through the playoffs?
No, he's done his job. Got Leeds promoted back to the Premier League. Regardless of the outcome, I know he's all saying we have the best squad in the division. I completely understand that, but injuries and it's the championship, it's shithousery, it's, you know what I mean, you're not going to walk this league, you never. And to be quite fair, it's probably the most gruesome, critical league in the world, if I'm being honest with you. You know, everyone's fighting. And then going back to what we said, I don't know who said it, someone said it in the last video, you know, this late in the season, you know, the bottom half teams that are fighting for relegation, they're going to step it up as well. So it's such a just a hard season, you know, straight out. But no, I don't think you could be sacking Farke. I think you need to back him straight off the bat when he comes up. I think, you know, people were saying Christmas. I think Christmas is a bit too long. I think you more or less know within the first 5 to 6 games where he's at and
it's gonna go. Yeah.
If he needs to go, more or less. But no, lads, if we finish third and we win on penalties and we scrape by him, we get up. You can't just go, oh yeah, see how, thanks. Look,
yeah,
you need to back the man. Like,
let's take a look anyway. I've done this unbelievable graph here, lads. It took me hours to do this. Very, very top drawer.
Nice sports.
Top of the range stuff, this, lads.
This is what you get here at Only Leeds Bros. Do. We can make graphs.
So we'll have a quick look at anyway, lads. Conor, first of all, we'll get your thoughts. That's the last 8 fixtures for Leeds United. Obviously, Swansea up next Saturday. All that last day, any of them kind of give you the Leedsy feel?
Few, yeah. So I think we beat Swansea. I think we struggle against Luton. Borough. Is that? Oh God, I thought we had another home game after that.
No,
Borough.
Away.
Yeah, Borough. At least you kind of get them out of the way early there, don't you? And you've kind of then you've got 3 home games after that and 2 away games of which we should win. Actually, I kind of prefer it like that, to be honest with you, because that's kind of 5 games at the end which we should. You know, I kind of look at them and I think there's 6 games where we'll be okay. I think there's 2 which we struggle in. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping. It just depends what Leeds turn up, lads. If it depends what Leeds turn up. If it's Leeds, you know, we struggle in maybe 4 of them. If it's Leeds United that we've been used to a lot of this season, we go and we win 7 of those games, and we're talking about Leeds being promoted way before the end of the season.
So excited.
It seems like that weekend, though, doesn't it? That Easter weekend when we've Stoke at home, Burnley and Sheffield United play each other. That feels like the standout one, lads, doesn't it? That seems like the one that if we can kind of match their results kind of up until that game and one of them are going to take points off each other, that could see us over the line, couldn't it? That weekend, it's massive, isn't it?
Oh, I'm so excited now. Don't know the way to put that in my head.
But it could be Easter weekend, and I think that's probably what gives me a little bit of comfort. And obviously, we're going to have to rely on Frank Lampard as well, back-to-back. Sheffield United and Burnley the next 2 games as well. I never said a bad word about him. But Conor, after looking at them last 8 fixtures on paper, we always say it's not played on paper. Leeds do have the easier run in. Straight up question: do you think we can do it?
Yeah. No, and I think we will. I've definitely had way more confidence this season than I've done definitely last season. Teams are going to drop points. Not every single team is going to win every game. And I think that's kind of what we're in the mindset of now, because we faltered a little bit. We seem to think that every team is then going to win every single game, which it just isn't going to happen. You look at those games that you just flashed up there. I think Burnley have got Coventry away and then Derby away back to back. Now that's probably tougher than, I think that's right, wasn't it? Yeah, Coventry away. When we've got Luton and Borough, they've got Coventry away and Derby away. Now, right now, we shouldn't be looking at Sheffield United. We should be looking at Burnley because they're a problem at the minute. They're scoring goals, and Marcus Edwards is looking pretty damn good. So, I kind of think when we come back, weirdly, I think we'll all win. I just think it's just going to be one of those weekends. But that second week is looking very, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. But the big games, Burnley have got a really, really tough run in. But Burnley
I think Burnley have a the roughest running. Then
if you look at the last three there, lads, like Sheffield United at home, QPR away, we know that's not an easy one. And then Millwall at home, you just don't know what Millwall can show up. Then you've got Sheffield United and Burnley away, Stoke away as well, lads. We know what Stoke was like, and then Blackburn away in the last day of the season.
I think the thing is with us, Daz, is what we've got to bear in mind is QPR and Millwall. They might not have anything to play for. Well, I don't think they will. I don't think QPR will. I don't think Millwall will at that point. So they're all right games. You look at Burnley, they've got a really good record down there. I think under Company last season, they won 4-0 or something. Or the other season, they won 4-0 down at QPR. They haven't got that ratchet record that we have. And what we have got to bear in mind is you've got Pompey nearly having an open bus parade when they beat us 1-0 and QPR selling out their stadium for playing us at 12:30 the other day when the game was on flipping Sky. So we have to dial it, lads. We have to dial it up. It's always been the case with us. Swansea played Burnley. I watched the game. I did a watch along for it. Swansea played Burnley. There was a taxi load of Swansea fans there. A taxi load. There is no way that happens against Leeds United. There's at least 15,000 Swansea fans there. Mm-hmm. So it's a completely different game for us. We've got to dial it up. We've got to raise our levels. I think the intensity's got to be better from the start, especially away from home.
100%.
I don't agree with Sean there, by the way. I don't agree with that.
I think we need a little bit more, to be honest. As I think we have to be looking at at least 5 wins. I sort of kind of have it earmarked in my head. But going back to Conor, what you kind of said there, when you obviously spoke about teams kind of raising their game against us, every one of them last 8 teams, they're going to want to be the team to stop Leeds United get promoted, aren't they? They're going to want to go. They want to be that team. The Oxford, your Lutons, your even your Boroughs, they're going to be, well, we derailed Leeds United's promotion push. They're all going to up their game, aren't they? Even if they've nothing to play for.
Yeah, they'll make it. Borough make a DVD out of that. It'll be. I mean, they tried to do it last season, didn't they? We beat them 3-4 up there, and it could have gone either way. To be fair, but they've got a good group of players as well. Borough, they shouldn't be underestimated. They've got a good group up there. They're some talented players.
Yeah.
But they have fallen off a little bit, and they've been very, very inconsistent. But play for Borough, they're still going to be right in with it, alongside Bristol City, West Brom and Coventry going for it. I did a table predictor not long ago, and I think I had Borough out by a point, but they're going to be right up there. So that's something to consider as well. They'll have something to fight for. But what's doing my head in is apparently everybody's got everything to play for. Everyone has got, they're all fighting against relegation. They've got loads to play for. They've got the playoffs to play for. They're gunning for promotion. And apparently Leeds don't have anything to play for anymore. So we have to go to these teams. We're playing 4 teams, I think, in the bottom 6 or something like that. And they've got everything to play for. Nobody ever mentions the fact that we've got absolutely everything to play for as well, which should, with the squad that we've got, see us through.
Yeah, 100%. Dylan, what do you think and what you were thinking then the last 8 games? I know you kind of ebb and flow. There's days you're confident, there's days that you're not. How are you feeling today?
How do I look?
You look great.
No, thanks. I don't fucking feel it. I'm gonna say 4 wins anyway. Straight off the bat. I think we'll struggle against 2, maybe draw 1 or 2. I don't know what way it's gonna be. Definitely 4 wins on the board. So I don't know. I'm nervous, Darren. You can't be putting me on the spot like that.
I didn't expect you to say that.
I think we'll win 4. Show the graph back up there for a second.
Just to help you out.
I think their deal 4 out of 8. I think Sheffield United maybe win more than that.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I think Burnley. It just feels with Burnley. I don't know about you, lads.
I think Burnley are going to struggle. I really do.
Do you think? Yeah. I hope you're right. I just think they just keep on trucking, don't they? Through. But
I just think they know how to defend, Conor, don't they? Like the whole season they've done it, and like what you said, Edwards there, they have him there, and we spoke about when they signed him in January that he could be the one to make the difference, and he is at the minute because defensively they're still solid.
I think you're kind of looking at Bristol City for them. You're looking at Cov, Derby. Those first 3 are tough games. I think they slapped Norwich because Norwich have just been appalling recently. Watford could be a tough game for them. I think it might be a tough game for them, especially if Watford just come to play as well. They might think they've got an outside chance of the playoffs as well. Sheffield United's massive. I do think the last 2 games are going to be a bit of a easy streak for them, to be honest with you. But I think there's 5 in there that I'm looking at and praying that they can sort of pick up or lose points, I should say.
I'm going to say Leeds will absolutely smash Swansea. I think we'll draw against Luton. I think we're going to lose against Borough. We'll win against Preston. We'll win against Oxford. I think we'll draw against Stoke, win, and then win. And then
That's an awful lot of draws and losses in there.
I know.
I
Yeah.
do think though when you look at Luton and Borough back to back away, lads, that's tough, Conor, isn't it? That's probably where it's a big one, isn't it? 2 back to back fixtures. I mean, on the Thursday this season, Leeds United away hasn't been good, has it?
It's just I don't know what's going on. I don't, you look at Coventry, you look at Watford, and maybe it's because they were playing a high line and were playing that ball over the top, and they just couldn't deal with us. Dan James is obviously veered off a little bit. There's a conversation maybe about Solomon as well, been a little bit more inconsistent recently. Probably just a lot of it down to fatigue. But yeah, Borough and Luton back to back are going to be tough, lads. They're going to be really tough. I think it's just because they've both got something to play for as well. Leeds on the road. We've just got to pick up that intensity because it's kind of reverting back to what it was pre-Christmas, where you kind of look at your Blackburns away from home, your Millwalls away from home, and them scoring first, and Leeds not really been able to get back into the game. But we've kind of got to get back to that Coventry Watford level again. We went through a period, didn't we, post December, where it was we beat Derby away, beat Stoke away, beat Coventry away, beat Watford away, win all our home games, and you're thinking this is just unbelievable. We're looking unbeatable at the minute. And then it just feels like the intensity's dropped. I mean, to let 2 goals in like that against QPR, 2 just absolutely terrible goals to concede, where there's no real defensive awareness across the pitch and resilience to get back into it, of course, but you're giving yourself such a task to get back into the game. They've just got to shore up a little bit, and that intensity from moment one's got to get better, lads, because for me in the Portsmouth game as well, and you look at the Sheffield United game as well, first 35-40 minutes, we're getting battered. So it's from the start, Leeds away from home have got to start upping that intensity for me, because if we do, we win the game.
I think it's a grabbing the game by the short though as well, Conor. I think now solely it doesn't matter about performance anymore. Just get the job done, no matter whatever it needs be. But I think we can all agree, Sunderland game and the Sheffield United game, we didn't play unbelievable. It was that bit of luck, and it's mad.
We've been poor for a while. The performances have been poor for a while, lads, realistically, haven't they?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's kind of like it's the heart and determination in the players to get it across the line. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes that does work as opposed to a performance. But it's like, I've always said this, it's like Leeds, they always put it up to the big teams, but they crumble under the pressure when it comes to little teams. For example, that Luton game, I said a draw. That could be the one that make or break our season, you know what I mean? But
I think if we win the next two, Dill, I think we'll go on and we'll probably win the league. We'll win the league early 100%. on. I think if we stumble, I think if you see a bit of a ropey performance against Swansea, but we win, and I think then if we struggle big time against Luton, I think that's when we'll all start to get a little bit nervy, because we could be off the back of maybe Burnley getting a couple of wins or Sheffield United getting a couple of wins. Sheffield United just feel like they'll play crap, but maybe unlike Leeds, where Leeds don't have that. Leeds don't have that sort of play crap and win at the minute, do we?
Yeah.
We don't have West Brom, QPR, Portsmouth. We play crap. You can look at the Sheffield United and Sunderland game, of course, but the last 3 we've played poorly, and we've not really been able to, get maximum points out of it. It feels Sheffield United for 90% of the season have played poorly, but have just keep getting the wins. So,
I think they'd be the one, if anything, to come first or second. I really do think Burnley will go off their first 3 games straight off the bat. They're going to struggle, and then they might pick up 1 or 2 wins, and then they have that game against Sheffield United as well. So hopefully, come Easter weekend, we're all happy as Larry and on the points.
It's a long way to go. Look, it's going to go fast, but then it feels like it's going to be a bit of a slog ahead, lads, isn't it? It's going to be a roller coaster, lads. We know with Leeds United, it's going to be ups and downs. Like that, we beat Swansea. We're all on that. Yeah, we're going to do it. Then you blip against Luton, you're back down to earth again. It's going to ebb and flow. And can you see it, Conor? Is there anywhere in there where you think like Leeds United that could be the weekend where we get it over the line, or do you see it going right to the wire, right to the final day?
Final day, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Final. It's purely based on like superstition. I mean, you look at the Bielsa season as well, where we went up behind closed doors, and obviously it was a little bit different. I think we had it done by Stoke, or we did it after Stoke. Can't quite remember, but we finished 10 points clear of West Brom in second. But I don't know. It just feels like, and I I don't know. It feels like I need to see like rotation from the manager. I need to see an upping in performances from the players at the minute. You know, a nice little win against Swansea would help. But I think if we went down to Luton, put in a bit of a performance and we beat Luton, and we beat Luton well, I might be convinced that we get it done earlier. I just see all of us picking up points towards the back end of the season. I think Sheffield United win the majority of those games. You know, you look at maybe 6 out of 8 wins there for me when you're looking at their fixtures. I think with Leeds, we pick up, I think we do maybe sort of, I'm hoping 5 or 6 wins in there for us. And then I kind of look at Burnley lads. I know what Dill's saying, but I just think the 1-0, the 2-1s, Burnley. I mean, they've lost 2 games all season. I just think they're going to keep picking up points. So yeah, I do see it going right to the end of the season, which I do think will beat Plymouth, and I do think we'll go up. But I just think these next 8 games are going to be horrific. I mean, my dad's convinced we bottled it already, so there you go.
Conor, you're not giving me good vibes at all.
Yeah, I can see Amy in the chat as well saying the same thing. As I've said on this, I think I'm always cautiously optimistic, lads. I do think it goes to the last day. I do think we'll get promoted. I genuinely believe that. That's not me just saying that, but it will go to the last day. I'll have a bet on with anyone. It'll go to the last day.
The only reason why Darren is raging is going to the last day because he's going away.
Mate, I'm at a wedding on the 2nd of May in Reading. I'm at a wedding in Reading. So my missus, and I was like to my missus, I was like, yeah, don't worry. We'll go down. She's like, have you got anything on? I was like, yeah, but it should be all right. And she's like, what do you mean? And she was like, go into it a bit more. And I was like, no, I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to. But she was like, you sure? You've been a bit weird. And I was like, no, it's fine. It should be fine by then. I'm like doing these things in my head, and she can see me ticking. I'm like, no, it should be fine. Yeah, just book it. Book the Premier in or whatever. And as it's getting closer and closer, like suddenly I'm talking to my dad, and I'm like, yeah, I might have to kibosh that for a watch along. Do you know what I mean? I might have to stay at home for a watch along. I'm not convinced anymore.
We're heading away to Spain. It's Amy's 30th there now at the end of April, and then a couple of days later, then we're heading off to Spain. So it's
by
like
the way, Amy is begging. She's begging that Leeds get promoted before that. As we all are, but Amy's praying for your.
But you know what I've done already? Being the Leeds fan and probably the Irish in me as well, I've searched high and low. Is there any sort of like Leeds kind of get together? Because we're going to Malaga, and I'm at the finding that there's Malaga Whites and there's like a Leeds bar called Shanksters, I think it is. And I've watched a couple of videos, and it seems to be the place to go. So I'm hoping that the final day of the season will be, on a beach in Malaga. Leeds get promoted around fellow Leeds fans. So that's the hope. But there definitely won't be a watch along that day. 100%.
I'll be outside. I'll be outside down the road on my own.
I thought Sean was saying it there, repeating the Bristol Rovers game. It's just, I mean, even that season, lads, in League One, where we beat Man United, and then we had like the likes of, I think it was Exeter, Gillingham. We struggled against both of those, and then it went right to the final day when we'd romped the league to start with. I think Norwich clawed back about 45 points on us to go.
It's ridiculous.
But yeah, no, it's. I hope we get it done. We've got more. The good thing now, the confidence raiser right now is the squad is just mega. It's such a good squad, and with Ampadu coming back, it sounds like Ampadu's going to be back. I think in the next probably couple of games, which is going to be big. But every other team are always worried about Leeds' quality and Leeds' class, but every other team is always confident in Leeds' mental strain, and I think that's kind of the thing that I'm always worried about, because I can't control these lads' mentality. I don't understand what their mental fortitude is, but that I know that is what every other fan, Burnley, Sheffield United, are looking at right now. It's not about the class on the pitch because they all think Leeds have got a better team. It's about up here, and they're thinking, is Joy Division going to be played at full blast?
It is, though. It is the mental strength now, Conor. Is it? Look, it's a slog, like 46 games as well. You're getting most of the games through the season. You're playing 3 games in 6-7 days. It's grueling, and it's really tough. And it's coming down now. It's who has the mental capacity just to keep going them last couple of games, isn't it? I think kind of quality, and look what Dylan touched on, performances as well. It's just get the job done now, isn't it? Just have that mental capacity to get it over the line.
Yeah, they've got to do. It's a big moment for a lot of them as well, with what's going to be going on in the summer, you know, in terms of just chopping and changing with their careers. The manager, if the worst case scenario happened, would be moved on. Assets would be stripped. So, yeah.
I want to know. Don't know. Don't talk about it.
Dylan's going to say shaking now in a minute.
Yeah.
Even off air when I try to bring it up with Dylan, but like I'm like, what if? Like, where do we plan if next season we don't go up? And Dylan, I'm not talking about. Can't talk about this. Like, you won't even engage.
I think Dill's in the right space, Daz. You got to think about, if you're thinking about next season for your mental fortitude again, you got to think about Leeds in the Prem. If you start thinking about Leeds in the Championship, you'll send yourself mental, because there's so much which should change. So
I just think there's potential to worry about the Premier League when we get there. You know, like everyone says it's going to be gruesome, but I genuinely think the 49ers will invest. I think this is the start of Leeds. Like what I'm trying to say is, when they've gone back to Bielsa, you know, it was just uncalled for. Leeds were this sleeping giant that's had to be awoken, and you know, we were gonna, after 16 years of pain, we were finally brought back to the Premier League. And it's like when a movie comes out, they give you a teaser trailer. We got 2 years of that. Oh, sorry, 3 years. But this is it now. This is where Leeds, I think, are going to turn things around. For me to say that, and Darren will be laughing like I'm
looking away here laughing here.
Yeah. But this is where I think Leeds do turn it around. I think we will. It'll be no more up and down club, and I know someone's going to bookmark this in 3 years' time. Leeds are getting clipped and all. Well, I tell you what, laugh at that, because Leeds ain't going to do that.
That's confidence right there. You're confident this morning. Lads, I think we'll leave it there. We're pushing up on the hour mark. Conor, anything else to say before we pop off?
No, mate, absolutely nothing. Just just keep the faith, I guess, and let's just hope Willie Gnonto is fit and firing, lads. Let's just hope, and we get back to it. We've got everybody fit and ready.
Be checking Twitter actually now today to find out if there's any sort of news of Willie Gnonto coming out. So be refreshing all day today. What's happening over on OneLeeds? We obviously seen you did a video with Jer last night. If you haven't seen it yet, lads, make sure you pop across and check that out. Really, really good video. What's coming up on OneLeeds?
Yeah, mate, we've got another podcast coming pretty soon, to be fair, which is just live in person with the Burnley fan and Sheffield United fans, talking about, you know, keep, sell, bench with all three of our squads. So that was a fiery, interesting one. And then, yeah, mate, nothing much, just getting back into the usual swing of things next week. And I'm sure I'll see you lads on OneLeeds as well if you fancy doing it. Not long ago, not long away.
Yeah, 100%. Dillo, and say before we wrap it up.
No, I just can't wait for next Saturday. Guys, do not forget, #find their sticker. If you haven't seen the video already, myself and Darren are heading over to the Swansea game. And because we hit 2K, because we're unbelievable like that, still can't get over it, we're going to give away £100 cash. So what you have to do, basically, find a Only Leeds Bro sticker. Have you got it there, Darren? No?
I have it stuck to my laptop here now, but I can get you a fresh one already. Yeah.
So, look, you're looking for a laptop outside Ellen Road now, anyways. Find a sticker outside Ellen Road and go straight to the Bremner statue, peel it off, go straight to the Bremner statue, and Darren or myself will hand you £100 cash. So, thanks very much.
And if it's not found, then we're just going to drink it in the Peacock. That's the plan. That's it from Only Leeds Bros. Thanks very much for everyone popping in. Before you leave the video, don't forget to smash a like on the video and hit subscribe to the channel, and make sure you pop across to Conor on OneLeeds and check out that video, which is a really, really good video. And kind of keep your Saturday going for your Leeds content. Thanks very much to everyone. Conor, thanks again, and we'll chat you all again soon.